All right, we're back, and we're going to talk about our biggest surprises of 2002. Now, what were you most surprised by?
Star Fox Adventures. I mean, where did that come from? I was never really into the whole Star Fox thing before. You know, now they turn it into a third person, and plus there's flying, and lots of other different elements in this game. The cinematics and the storyline and the sound.
It's a gorgeous game, too, right? I mean, it's an amazing looking game.
Well, they get that whole camera angle thing worked a lot. Another great game for me was Dead to Rights.
Yeah.
Now, Dead to Rights didn't really have a whole heck of a lot of build-up. You know, I don't think a lot of people thought it was going to be a game as it was.
Because it was such an innovative title. There was so many different things going on. Speaking of innovation, I like the innovation in Robot Alchemic Drive. Rad. That is such a crazy game. It was not a perfect game. There's some weird sort of stuff to deal with in the thing, but the fact that you actually feel like you're controlling a giant, 60-story tall robot.
It did have a lot of its problems. I would have liked, and I think they could have been easily fixed. I would have liked to have seen a couple different camera angles when you're actually playing the mech.
I was really surprised by Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the Xbox from the Collective. I was expecting another, routine licensed game with Buffy running around and a little bit of fighting but it was such a great game, and it really captured the flavor of the television series.
Totally. There's Super Monkey Balls too.
Super Monkey Ball, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, Super Monkey Balls.
Okay.
See, the first game was called Super Monkey Ball.
Right.
And
So naturally,
the second game would be Super Monkey Balls. I kind of didn't like the first one as much because I didn't feel like it really showed off the power of the GameCube.
Well, you were waiting for the storyline for Super Monkey Ball. You really wanted to know what these characters were all about.
No, not really.
No?
No, the great thing about Super Monkey Balls, too, was that they had all these different sports elements in it. They had bowling and pool and baseball and soccer.
And as everybody knows, sports can only get better when you throw monkeys in there. One thing that I thought was really cool was Sony's network adapter and getting online to play SOCOM on the PlayStation 2. It was so easy and so intuitive, and it was so great to see something on the console where you could actually jump online and start playing with lots of other people at the same time.
I think this was a lot of people's first time.
Oh, yes.
With the whole communicating thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of the times when you get on and you got your SOCOM thing, the conversation goes something similar to this. Yes. What the? You get over there and shoot the guy, you.
Yeah, it wasn't all on the consoles this year, though. I was really surprised by how great the PC games were this year. I was blown away. Week after week, we picked up another PC game that just blew my mind. I was really impressed with Dungeon Siege, Unreal Tournament 2003, Battlefield 1942.
How about Mafia?
And Jedi Outcast, and Freedom Force, and Warcraft 3. The other thing that surprised me, too, was Sony's first-party games. I mean, I've been talking a lot about the PC games, but the Sony first-party titles were very impressive this year. They had tons of good stuff. The Mark of Creed. Sly Cooper. One thing as well that was kind of surprising to me was seeing 3D first-person shooters on the Game Boy Advance. Now, this is hardware that's supposed to be 2D only, and here we've got Duke Nukem Advance and X vs. Sever, Dark Arena. There was some really fun. That's nice, man. That's really good. I like the first-person shooter games of the Game Boy Advance, and I was very surprised by that. All right. Any more surprises?
No.
Besides that face that you guys did? All right, so now we're going to focus on the top 10 worst games of 2002. These are the games to avoid at all costs, and you don't want to buy these for anybody because they won't appreciate it.
Mike Tyson heavyweight boxing was a loser. Smashing Drive, although it was okay for the GameCube, can you believe they ported this pile to the Xbox? UFC Throwdown. Now, they should have renamed this game UFC Throw Up. Any Batman game can pretty much bite me for all I care. Men in Black 2. Bomberman Generations. I've never been a fan. I continue not to be a fan. Of course, you got your Superman Acropolis game. What was that called, Vic? Here's one that deserves to go to the top of the list. Disney's Magical Mirror. Oh my. Now here's one for the archives. And finally, last and certainly least, is the worst game possibly ever created in the history of the industry. Of course, I am talking about High Heat Baseball 2003 for the PC.
All right, my top 10 worst games of 2002 have to start off with Hero X from Infogram. This was a poor copy of Freedom Force, one to avoid at all costs. Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse. Nobody wants to play as a cursor. Men in Black 2 for the PlayStation 2, an abysmal game and an absolute horrid use of the license. Another disappointment, major disappointment, was the Terminator Dawn of Fate. Mike Tyson's heavyweight boxing. Okay, that guy should just retire. Pac-Man Fever. Le Mans 24 hours. It takes 24 hours to figure out how to install this thing into your PC. I also really loathed High Heat Baseball 2003, although it didn't give me an ulcer like it did Tommy. Mall Tycoon. And finally, I hated the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring for the Game Boy Advance. It's just so tedious, and when you're talking about portable gaming, you don't have time for tedious. Well, those are the worst games of the year. You definitely want to stay as far away from those games as you possibly can.
After the break, we're taking a look at the naughty and nice lists for the GameCube.